I have important news about the world of immigration, but before I move forward, please subscribe to our channel and enable notifications. If you are a permanent resident applicant, you need to give biometrics in order to apply for immigration to Canada. Biometrics means taking a digital photo from your face and also take fingerprints from all your 10 fingers. Again, digital fingerprints. This process is normally done at a visa application center, or if you are in the United States, then you may go to an ASC center to do your biometrics. And if you are inside Canada, Service Canada is in charge of doing biometrics. Unfortunately, since COVID-19 spread, many of the biometric centers are closed or they are not fully functional, and that has created a huge backlog in terms of processing immigration applications. Normally, IRCC won't process an application if the biometrics are not on file. You also need to know that when you apply for temporary resident, for example, for a temporary resident visa or for a work permit or a study permit, you also need to give biometrics. The biometrics that you give for temporary resident applications, they are valid for a period of up to 10 years. This means that if you give biometrics for a TRV application and 2 years later you decide to apply for work permit, you don't need to give biometrics again. Unfortunately, the biometrics that you give for TRV applications are not valid for permanent residency applications. And that has created a huge issue for many people who already have valid biometrics, but they still need to wait for their applications to be processed by IRCC, and their applications keep being on hold because IRCC does not recognize temporary resident biometrics. What the government of Canada did recently, they decided that if you have valid temporary resident biometrics, then you don't need to give biometrics for permanent residents anymore. In other words, let's say you gave biometrics for a work permit application 2 years ago, and now you have a pending permanent resident application starting from September 22nd, which this new measure became operational. You don't really need to give biometrics again. This doesn't mean that if you have an application pending before September 22nd, you need to be worried. Don't worry, they will also include those applications. It's just that the operations started on September 22nd. Starting from September 22nd, IRCC will review every single permanent resident application, either if they have valid PR biometrics on file or valid TRV or work permit or study permit biometrics on file. What if you don't have biometrics on file? Unfortunately, if you don't have biometrics that are valid on file, then you need to give biometrics. In those situations, if you are inside Canada, a Service Canada agent will call you eventually or call your representative and will invite you to do biometrics. If you are outside Canada, you need to look for an open VAC or ASC center and try to give your biometrics as quickly as possible, because without a valid biometrics on your file, the immigration authorities won't process your application. So let's recap. If you have entered the pool of express entry and submitted your application and received a BIL or biometrics instruction letter, or if you have submitted your application for permanent residency under any other options, for example, sponsorship applications or startup applications or self-employed applications or PNP applications, if you already have a temporary resident biometrics on file which is valid, you don't need to give biometrics anymore, and IRCC will process your application. But if you don't have a temporary resident biometrics on file, then you definitely need to give biometrics. What will happen to those BIL or biometrics instruction letters? We don't know yet. So they probably will eventually ask you to do biometrics, or they will refund you. I'm not quite sure what they will do with those, but if you have received a BIL before and your application is being processed, it won't hurt if you actually do your biometrics anyways. However, follow the news and instructions by IRCC about future developments. Just before I let you go about temporary resident applications, if you have a temporary resident application and you have not done your biometrics, if you are inside Canada, luckily you are exempt from doing biometrics. They will process your application without doing biometrics. But if you are outside Canada, you are not exempt from biometrics, and you definitely need to give biometrics unless you have valid biometrics, or you are, for example, a US citizen and exempt from biometrics for temporary applications. Thank you very much for watching this video. My name is Parsai. I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. I teach immigration consulting at Ashton College. I'm the author of 88 tips on immigration to Canada. You can find out about your purchasing options by visiting 88tips.ca. Please like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to our channel, and enable notifications. See you soon.